Hi, this is Terry Gray with Palomar College Academic Technology. We're back to our Windows Live Movie Maker series. We've covered transitions and various pan and zoom effects that you can apply to static and moving images in Windows Live Movie Maker. Today I'd like to do a quick video on visual effects. That's something a little bit different. As you can see on my screen, I have two still images. One of our arboretum here, one of our clock tower, and then I have a video of the clock tower. Okay, so to add a visual effect, we go to the visual effect tab. That's the only thing on this tab, and there's a gallery. The drop down of the gallery shows us that there are, let me spread it out here, a number of different effects that you can apply to both still and moving images in the program. Let's go ahead and select this clock tower image and just give it a sepia effect. Okay, so when we view it in the preview window, it will look sepia. Okay, just that simple. And to remove effects, as usual, you select the effect and choose from the gallery none. Okay, so that's how effects are applied and removed. Now let's take a look at the different ones that are available to us. Let's go back to that sepia one for a second. Here's a little trick with Windows Movie Maker. If you want to duplicate a still image in the program, just select it, hold down the control key, and drag. So I've got two copies of this arboretum picture here. One thing you can do is add an effect to the initial image and then have it merge into a full color image. So we have a sepia effect and full color. And we're probably going to want to use a transition here. So let's go to our animations and choose one of our fade transitions. And here's what that will look like. We're looking at the old style transitioning to the new. Something like that, you see. So there are a number of ways you can put these effects upon the same image in sequence for a really interesting effect in Movie Maker. I'm going to delete that picture. I'm going to go back to my Visual Effects tab and remove that effect from the Arboretum picture. And let's take our little tour of our gallery here. There's none, the one we just used to remove an effect. In fact, let's select the clock tower picture here. Alright, and here's the artistic effects, blur. You can see the effect in the preview window below the gallery. This is a really interesting one, the edge effects. And you can see that you can do some pretty interesting and creative looking things in just a single click here. Let's choose our arboretum picture, apply edge effects, and it really looks interesting. I think you'd agree. Okay, taking a look at some more of the artistic effects. This one's called Posterize and Threshold Effects. Okay, there's another series of them called Black and White, and it really is just a number of filters. Here's the blue tint, and here's the sepia that we've already talked about. That's our saturation or desaturation effects. Here's cinematic effects. Take a look at these. Kind of not quite sure where you'd use those, except maybe in a title to a video. A little too artsy for me. Mirror can be very interesting and useful. And here's the mirror vertical. If you want to create a reflection in a pool, for example, you could use this one. And then there's various motion ones. 3D ripple. All of these are a little psychedelic here. Fade from black, fade from white. And you can't really see these in the preview. It's not really logical the way they set these up. This is fade to black and fade to white. You have to actually look at the end of the duration of the static image to see the effect, but it works. And here's a cycle through the color spectrum. And that'll go on cycling as long as the duration of the image exists. Here's pixelate. That's more like a transition, but you can use it as an effect. Here's a 360 spin and warp. all for people who have eaten those funny mushrooms, I guess. Just a way to be creative in the program. You apply them or remove them, and if you apply them to a video clip, like the video clip I have here, it will affect the entire clip. So if you were to be foolish enough to use the warp, for example, and I played my video clip, you can see the entire clip will be warped, and the speed of the warp action will be affected by the length of the video itself. Okay. Now, one thing that you can do, let me remove this effect, that's a little bit arty, is let's say I want the first few seconds of this video, say first 3 seconds or so, to be in sepia and then blur to full color. What I can do is go to my go in 3 seconds, go to my video tools, split the video, come back to my first copy, go to visual effects, add the sepia effect, go to my second, and let's use a transition. We'll use our blur transition and maybe give it a 2-second effect. And that way we can watch the preview window now, run from sepia and blur to full color. Okay, so that's one interesting way to apply effects to the beginning of a video. This was a quick one. Effects are really easy, and it's up to you to think of creative ways to apply them. Thanks for listening.